Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this exciting segment of travel updates, weekly travel updates with Tanvi Goel of AusIndia Travels. With this, welcome to the show, Tanvi.
Thank you, Maisty. Thank you, everyone. Today is 47th episode. It's really quite exciting. There are so many news and there are so many experiments I've been doing as well. India to Australia, Australia to India, both sides, which I'll be going to share with you all as well. So before we go ahead, just a little disclaimer that any information discussions we have today in this episode, it's all general information only. As you know, rules and regulations can change anytime, and individual cases can differ as well. So please keep yourself updated for that as well.
And definitely, because the rules and regulations do keep changing from time to time. Okay, so moving on, let's get on with the show. So, what are the updates Australia to India at this point in time?
Okay, so let's just go through that who can fly and what are the things happening and what are the main updates for this week. So first of all, any Indian citizen on temporary visas, tourist visas, or any other visas you guys have, you can fly Australia to India. Just bit update for students, please, or the temporary visa holders who are here for longer period of time and who have work and things, please make sure you get your return exemption before you leave Australia. Because you can go from Australia to India, but it's not certain when you can come back. So better to have exemption if it's very important for you. Australian citizens and PRs, you have option to go back as well, especially for there are 3-4 categories which are main. The most popular categories, if you have one of your parents sick or you want to go and assist them, so you have to get the letter from a doctor. So sickness for your family member. Number 2, if there is an unfortunate death in family. Number 3, if you're going to get any minors from India. And number 4, if you're going for 3+ month option. So these are the 4 main categories for Australian citizens and PR. And please, I have received many calls for New Zealand passport holders as well this week, who were asking whether they need exemption or not. I was told maybe you don't need it, but I still recommend everyone, those who are residing in Australia on New Zealand passport, please call Home Affairs on 13 18 81 to just double make sure that what status you are in, whether you need exemption to fly from Australia to India, and whether you need exemption to come back from India to Australia as well, because there were some rules changed on 11th of August where ordinary residents living overseas, they might need to get the exemption back. So your case might be a little bit different, and it's always good to recheck with the Home Affairs before you leave country so you don't have any shocks last minute. And also for those who are flying, please, I would say for the corona test, actually I have done experiment this time. So last week I told you guys that pretty much everyone going from Australia to India, everyone needs to do a COVID test again on Indian airports. But this time we have done a little bit experiment. So instead of 72 hours before international flight, we have done 48 hours before international flight. And luckily, a couple of people were asked not to do it again. So, and guys, this COVID test result in maximum cases coming within 24 hours. And there are many centers. I have a center in Brisbane, Sydney. I know there are some people have done in Melbourne as well, where your COVID test result in coming 6 to 8 hours. So right now for this week, my recommendation from Australia to India would be do your COVID test 48 hours before international flight. What that would be that, you might save to do a COVID test again in India. So it's not mandatory that they won't ask you, but I have seen in last week that there were few people who were asked not to do the test again because the test was just done 48 hours before international flights. So that's the main thing for this week. Now, what flights are flying from Australia to India is Qatar and Emirates. Bit of differentiation of whatever the difference between two flights, as I always do. So Emirates got 4.5 hours old option if you're going to Delhi. And if you're going to any other places, they have mainly 16 hours or 22 hours old option. If you're going to any small cities like Madurai, Vijayawada, Jaipur, and any little airport in Australia, in India, then it's better you go to Delhi and get the connection from there, because Delhi gets the maximum connections to anywhere, any smaller airports in India. And also Delhi got only 4.5 hours old, so that's best to connect from Delhi. And Emirates get you free lounge and free hotel option as well. Number 2 is a Qatar flight. Qatar has, in some cases, 6-7 hours old option, but majority of sectors from Australia to India are 13-14 hours hold option. If you are carrying less luggage, you can probably take Qatar because Qatar is cheaper compared to Emirates, especially if you're going with less luggage, which is 25 plus 7. They don't have any lounge facility option. If you want, you can pre-buy the lounge for 6 hours, around $80 to $100, and then you can extend in the airport once again if you have your hold for 13-14 hours. So these are the main 2 flights, guys. Remember, doesn't matter online which website showing that they are going at this stage. These are the only 2 options. I have seen many people, online, they book different airlines and then they call airlines and they come to know that the flight is not going. So please make sure and be very clear that which airlines is going and which option you can take. One more thing I want to mention to you guys here is I have seen that there is a connection showing online, especially, for example, Brisbane to Dubai, Dubai to Jaipur, or Dubai to Vizagwala, and Dubai to, there are so many smaller airports, they are showing connections. But at the same time, what I heard from some passengers are these small city connections from Dubai doesn't look like very reliable. So my recommendation would be from Australia to India, that's best to take to the main airports in Australia from Dubai to India rather than taking the smaller airports such as Jaipur or Vijayawada, because if they don't have enough passengers, they might cancel the flight and it can be really a big hassle for you to rearrange the flight again in Dubai. Rather than better, just go to, let's say if you're going to Vijayawada, you can go Brisbane, Dubai, Delhi, and then from Delhi you can take Vijayawada option. Or you can go to Hyderabad as well, and then from Hyderabad you can take Vijayawada. So if you need, guys, we can always help you with this flight as well. However, it's not in our recommendation list. So these are main updates from Australia to India, and little bits and tips which can help you. Basically.
Well, wonderful, and I think that is a very, very good suggestion there that, first point of entry may be one of the major airports in India, like Delhi and Hyderabad, like you mentioned, rather than trying for the smaller ones, which can be arranged from there. So that's a very good point. Okay, so right now, moving on. So what are the flight options from Brisbane at this point in time?
So from Brisbane, guys, there are plenty of flights, pretty much 4-5 flights a week you have from here. Emirates and Qatar are flying absolutely fine. If you are flying from here, I always recommend from Brisbane, Friday Emirates flights are more reliable options. We are trying to create group almost every middle of the month from all the cities of Australia. So from here, we have 17th of September. If you are looking for your parents or any older person to get the company, then we have a group going from here. So Emirates flights are 10th, 12th, 14th, and 17th. So in short, Tuesday, Fridays, and Sundays, and Fridays are the most preferred ones. And Qatar flights are Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays, which means 11, 14, 16, and 18th of September.
Okay, so that's got Brisbane covered. What about the options from Sydney at this point in time?
So Sydney have plenty of options as well and lots of connections. Once again, 4-5 flights a week. Tuesday are our most preferred ones where we are trying to create groups as well. So 11, 12, 14 and 16 September, which means Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday flights from Sydney of Emirates, and Qatar flights are 11, 12, 14 and 16 September. So plenty of flights from Sydney as well.
Okay, so we've got Sydney covered. Going on to Melbourne, so what's the status of Melbourne at this stage?
So Melbourne got plenty of flights as well, and Wednesdays are my preferred ones always. We are trying to create a group on Wednesday as well. So 10th, 11th, 15th and 17th September, these are the Emirates flights, and Qatar flights are on 10th, 12th, 13th and 15th September, which means Monday, Wednesday, Fridays and Sundays.
Okay, so those are the dates there. And right now, moving on, what's the status update, any status update from Adelaide?
Okay, so from Adelaide, guys, Emirates are flying with 2 stops. Unless you want to catch your friend from any city and want to go with them, it's a different story. Or there's any particular day you want to fly. For example, if it's urgent for you to fly on Wednesday, then maybe go with Emirates. Otherwise, I would recommend Qatar from Adelaide, because Qatar got 1-stop options every Mondays, Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays.
So that's a very good option there from Adelaide. Well, right now, what's the status, any update from Perth flights?
Perth got 1-stop flights as well, at least 4 flights flight a week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturdays and Sundays are the Emirates flight, which means 12, 16, 19, 23rd of September. And then Qatar flights are also there on Monday, Fridays and Sundays. So these are, guys, basically pretty much from all main cities in Australia to any main cities in India. You have the flights. Remember, it's just not a this week. We are telling because we do the show weekly basis. I was told by some people whether we have flights afterwards or not. Just for your information that we have flights throughout the year. So you can buy it, up till August next year. However, I recommend to book maximum by November or December this year, not after. But we have flight on weekly basis from all main major airports of Australia, 3-4 flights a week. So you can buy whichever one you want.
So that is a wonderful update, and of course it is advisable. Looking at how things are changing, what sort of time frame people should allow, and how far forward should anyone go in making those kind of bookings. Well, any update for India to Australia at this point in time? Probably because a lot of people may be asking that.
Yeah. I would say in the last whole week, maximum calls are received for people who are looking for flights, India to Australia. It was even heavy this week because options are definitely less, guys. And I would say, please don't get panicked that options are less and you need to come here. I understand there are many people called me that they are in urge of actually losing their jobs and, the kids are here. There's so many different conditions. Totally understand that. But our idea is just to give you guys all up-to-date information and what you should do. So this week, I thought I'll let you know actually a list that what exactly happening and what airlines are flying. First of all, the default Qantas flights are flying. They don't have this week, this month, but hopefully they'll be coming next month as well, which are hard to get and they are invite only. So if your friend is getting link, don't think that you can book them as well because they are invites only. And after even getting invite, it's not always necessary that you will be able to get the flight because sometimes links are open and they go very, very fast. One more update this week is seems like there are some temporary residents with exemption were removed from default flight bookings. So if you're temporary residents, then probably don't book defects. Only Australian citizens, PR, and their spouse and kids can book default flights. For everyone else, please double check in case they have made any changes. But at this stage, only citizen, PR, spouses and kids can book default flights. Other than that, guys, there are 6-7 more options which you can choose, though they are very limited. But just for your information that which flights are flying. So one is the Indonesian charter, which is planned pretty much every month, once a month. Second is Sri Lankan Indigo charters, which are planned every Monday from India. But right now, they are pretty sold out like 6-7 weeks in advance. And 25th October is the only option which is available. Third is Japan Airlines, which is flying mainly to Sydney. Sydney got, again, reduced the caps last week, which means there are less options. They have only business class available, which is $9,000. But they are flexible options, but you can still book it. Number 4 is a Japan Airlines low-cost airline, which is called ENA or Air Nippon. They have some business class options as well. They're around $9,000. So these flights are even pretty much, they are sold out up till November, but there are some last-minute flight comes sometimes, which can be booked. But be very careful that. Now, number 5 is the Qatar Airways. So Qatar Airways is pretty sold out till November, December as well. They have some business class available November onwards for certain dates, but their business class is very, very expensive, maybe $10,000 or more. I was checking for some date, was showing me $13,000 per person for one person. It's very, very expensive. But you can see there are some agents sailing, economy class of Qatar as well, guys. In my opinion, I have seen there were lots of cancellation last week as well with economy. I would highly recommend you guys not to buy Qatar or Emirates economy seat at this stage from India because I have seen there are a lot of cancellations. And 5th is Emirates, as I already mentioned that there are some economy seats available in that. Business class, if you get, it's still I would say it's okay because there is a logic behind it. Let's put it this way that if airlines can carry only 20-30 passengers from India and the cost of operating the aircraft is very, very high, maybe $150,000 to $400,000, then you can imagine they can't afford to bring the economy passengers. Not like airlines doesn't want to bring it, it's just the cost of operation is very, very high. So I think it's best to really take very informed decisions these days. Just don't go in a trap, and please be careful of the scammers as well, that if they tell you these flights available, you book it, because getting refunds on these flights are the very big deal, because we are not talking about hundreds of just $1,000. We are talking about $5,000 to $10,000, or in some cases, if you're coming as a family, we are talking about $30,000, $40,000. And the standard policy of any airlines these days, the refund policy I'm talking about, except charter flights, is up to 180 days, which means 6 months. So remember, if you take any of those flights which are not reliable, they get cancelled, you have to wait for 6 months, up to 6 months to get your refund done, and you have to pay from your pocket again to get the next flight. So in my recommendation right now, charters are the best possible options to book, though they are very less as well, but still they are more reliable, and their refund policy is quite fast as well. So I think 7 to 5-6 weeks, the maximum you can get your refund back if you buy charters. But once again, in case of charter, remember, there is no option to cancel or change. You can only get the refund back if airlines or government cancel the flight, otherwise you can't. So at this stage in this week, only 25th October Sri Lankan charter is available, and which can be connected from any city. We are expecting some last minute flight coming as well, maybe in next few weeks. And also, Indonesian charter might come as well. So please keep checking all the options. If you want, you can send me your expression of interest as well, because when we are maintaining that list, and sometimes we just do a pre-registration of you, so that if we know that what condition you are in, so we are prioritizing people based on the vulnerability as well, so that who needs fast, they come faster. So if you send us our passport copy and details, then we can pre-register you for upcoming flights and definitely can help you. So once again, there are very less options, but be very, very careful what you book. We have a WhatsApp group as well, and Facebook groups where you can be updated if you need more information, and you can always give me a call if you require any more details for India to Australia flight as well.
Okay, so there you are, up to date. There's quite a lot of information there, and some very, very important points that you've made there as well. Well, okay, so anything exciting about nationally here in Australia?
Really not too many things exciting, but yeah, I think we can make it exciting because we are in our homeland, and whichever city you are, guys, I would really recommend you to be there, not go any interstate unless you can see there's a green light. So first of all, I'm going to tell you about the travel ban. So that has been extended up till 17th of December 2021. So at this stage, we're expecting that people might be free on Christmas to book, but I probably won't recommend you to book anything internationally or even interstate much for Christmas this year. But you can always make the choices, or you can book the things around in your own state itself. So that should not be a problem. In fact, if you jump on our website, which is www.ausindiatravel.com.au, under Australia short tour section, we have so many discounted short tours for your own city which you can take, and they are very, very flexible as well. So I would say, if you have been booking any of the tours in next few months, maybe take a very flexible option where they are giving you to change the options or tours, and you don't have to pay much. And there are some states, especially Queensland, is doing really so many exciting offers. Especially Gold Coast has so many things over there, and they're putting on discounts as well. So you guys are free. Those who are lucky in states, so you can take advantage of the local tours around. And there's so many events as well. So Brisbane, especially, I can see this flooded with the events. So I'm sure you all have something else to do every weekend. So I think take advantage of that as well. Next is about the vaccination passport, guys. If you remember, we discussed with you quite a few times that Australians really want to express interest that they want to have a vaccination passport as well. And it's in process, and heard a few weeks back there are some loopholes which they're trying to rectify. So every state have their own says, about the vaccination. But this time I've seen Tasmania. So Tasmania has done some research and survey as well recently, and 61% people said they really want everyone coming to Tasmania to have the vaccination passport, which means fully vaccinated people. They want people to come to their state in Tasmania, so that the corona doesn't spread. So which is, I think, a very fair advice as well, and it's really a great inspiration for everyone. Like Tasmania said, they really wanna have the vaccinated people. I think like every state doesn't wanna, it doesn't want this corona to spread. So highly recommend you all to please get vaccinated. Our target to reach 80%, and that's what it's everywhere. Get vaccinated. If we reach to the 80%, guys, maybe this travel world will open not only nationally, even internationally as well. So definitely, it is something really highly recommended to do. Next is, so Virgin Australia and Qantas, they have quite a few flights as well. Just to give you a bit of update, from Sydney, there are some cancellations, especially to Brisbane and Melbourne as well. So if you have booked any of the Sydney flights or to or from Sydney flights, please check your flight status, because seems flights are not there every day, and that's Jetstar, Qantas, and Virgin Australia all are the same. But for other cities and especially within the state, there are quite a few flights which you can take. Next is from Qantas Link. So they are upgrading their aircraft, and also so many in-flight entertainments as well by the end of this month. So passenger on carrier 50 Boeing 717, Fokker 100s, Airbus 320, airlines will be able to stream around 2,500 hours of premium movies as well, TV shows, audiobooks, and via the Qantas Entertainment app as well. So Qantas Link is really upgrading a lot of entertainment for people as well, which I think are fantastic news. So once again, there are quite a few options, but in Australia, best to be within your state for the time being. And if there is anything else changes, we'll definitely inform you as well.
Yes, of course. As you mentioned there before about Tassie, there's no JB, no Tassie. So, of course, yes. And on Qantas Link, they're streaming that many movies. I hope they have lots of Bollywood there as well. Because we're
2,500 hours of movies which are they putting in, which is great.
There you go. I'm missing out on all my movies because most of my movies I used to watch on long distance flights. Well, talking about long distance flights, so what's happening? What are the updates for international scene?
Okay, internationally there are quite a few things, but I have also put down the main ones for you. So start with the Qantas. So International Air Services Commission has issued a fresh determination allocating Qantas 303rd country code shared seats on the Italy route, covering shared services with both Emirates and British Airways, valid for 5 years from 31st August 2022. Wow. So that means there will be lots of code shares with Qantas, Emirates, and British Airways and Jetstar in future for 5 years at least, which they are the contract which they are signing. And starting next year, mid next year. So that's really fantastic news. I think if we all reach to the vaccination and to 80% and world opens, then we all will have really plenty of options and better fares. That means. Next is from Jetstar Asia. So Jetstar Asia has recommended flights from Singapore Airport to Phuket as a part of Thai government vaccinated sandbox scheme. As we see, border restrictions are easing, and it's really fantastic for everyone, if that eases for sure. But it's really good that Jetstar Asia has recommended this route, because if they have that route, that also means that we'll have a better connection once again. So, yeah, that's great news. And next is from Abu Dhabi. So Abu Dhabi has confirmed it will welcome all vaccinated travelers from all around the globe, in line with the UAE dropping all visitor restrictions, which was issued firstly on 30th of August. So visitors now can register their vaccination details for verification 5 days before travel. That they can go on a website which is ica.gov.ae. And SMS confirmation will link to a smartphone app as well, which can be downloaded or display vaccination status. RT-PCR report, which is also active, and if you do that, you can get the green pass of that as well. But remember, you have to do COVID test before you leave, and also you have to do one more once you reach there. So there is one more PCR test on arrival, and then pass allows you to enter the public spaces in Abu Dhabi. But that's fantastic news that they are allowing everyone who are vaccinated from around the world. Next is from Emirates. So Emirates will receive 3 additional A380 aircraft from Airbus later this year. So we have given you something like that information previously as well, that they are planning to get some new aircrafts, and this time they have confirmed that everything is in planning. they're going to have 3 more aircraft by the end of this year. So all 3 jets will be fitted out with the carrier premium economy cabins, signature features including private suites, shower spas in the first class, onboard lounge, fully flight seats in the business class, and when they join the fleet, it will bring the Emirates total A380s 218 by November. So it's really fantastic news. I think spa in the showers in first class and the private suites. I'm sure Umesh must be very, very happy and waiting eagerly to fly on these Emirates flights. So it's really quite exciting. And I think way to go forward. Next from Qatar Airways, so they have launched a global destination promotion. If you remember, we told you last week as well that they are promoting it so that people can join the FIFA World Cups in 2022, and they are doing this promotion again. So offering travelers special fares for more than 140 global destinations and a double points as well. So 6-day sales already started, and that will be going up till Monday. So if you need, you can definitely book one of the Qatar flights. So Qatar Airways privilege also earning 5,000 bonus file points as well. And new members will also gain access to exclusive FIFA World Cup offers 2022. And the promo is, as I said, valid till Monday at this stage. So if you book Qatar flights, you're going to get a lot of double points and extra points for the new members and FIFA World Cup entry as well, so which is great. Next is from Singapore Lines. They have advised a number of their booking have been impacted by the Australian government inbound capacity reductions. So Singapore has said they had to cancel some smaller number of passenger flights to Sydney, Melbourne, Perth over the next 2 months from Singapore. Meanwhile, Singapore has extended their completion date and passenger holding tickets and their global travel waiver policy as well. And passenger now can complete or they can apply for refunds up till 30th June 2022. So that for the passenger who were flying from Australia to Singapore. Now there are less flights. So if your flight is cancelled, please contact them. You can apply for refund, or if you want, you can take future flights as well. Next is about Fiji. So as I mentioned to you before as well about the travel ban that has been extended up till 17th December at this stage. But Fiji Airways and the Fiji Airways CEO said they are very, very optimistic that as soon as this travel ban lifted, which has hopefully, because they started March 2020 long time back. So this time they are thinking if that one lifts, then Fiji is going to be maybe the first destination who will be opening. And Aussies can, definitely meet with their families in Fiji. So it's really very, very good news from them. And they are already planning lots of flights from 17th December onwards from Australia to Fiji. And yeah, I hope that one happens. And, all the people who are here and waiting to see their families, including Macy, and then can go back and see your families. Next one from Air Canada. So to this news, guys, there's so many airlines, have mentioned that, they are doing lots of plannings. They were planning actually before and thinking, travel ban will lift. But since the 17th December date came up, then all airlines started issuing everything. And Air Canada also came up and said, okay, we are going to have so many flights. Earlier, they thought they will have 2-3 flights a week. But they're saying after 17th December, they are very optimistic that everything will open. And they will have at least 4 flights a week, Sydney to Vancouver, frequency from 17th of December. So you might see a lot of things happening. Next is from British Airways. So they have unveiled the enhancement at some of their airport lounges in preparation for a wider rollout of the network. So carrier reopened the Concorde rooms at New York Airport, London Heathrow Terminal number 5 this week, marking the movement by announcing a new cocktail menu because they are expecting that there'll be a lot more people flying. So they have opened these 2 major airports lounges, which is really a fantastic news that people will have and they are upgrading them all the time as well to give everyone really a safe and best experience on those lounges. Next is from Lufthansa. We really don't tell much about the Lufthansa, but this time they came up and said, okay, they have unveiled a new onboard catering offering for business class guests on short and medium haul flights. So rolling out this month, the next one's a new concept called Tasting Heimat, which means the taste of the homeland. and they are featuring cuisine inspired by the city of Munich, Frankfurt, Hamburg, Berlin, Dusseldorf, and Leipzig. So you will see amazing menu and cuisine in Lufthansa, especially for business class passengers. So guys, I would say it was a time in the past where business class only some certain business class people used to fly in business class, but this is a time, I think it just happened in Corona, that even normal people, those who even don't think that they will be sitting business class, they keep sitting on business class as well. And I think it's kind of added, kind of different experience for people. I know there are many people who are forced to do it, but in some way, I know, when they, sit in a business class, come here and say, ma'am, I think it was a fantastic experience. If this was not forced, I would never sit in business class. So I think somehow it's few things are for good as well if you just focus on a positive points. But really amazing to see that all airlines are putting forward and doing a lot of experiments and upgrading. So these are the main updates we see at this stage.
And of course, Lufthansa is an amazing airline as well. Even in my very, very early days, student days, going to India, then coming back, when the first trip out of India was via Lufthansa, and that was just, I can never forget that, because sometimes, even no matter how many flights you have, some flights, have that impression. So yeah, the Lufthansa, really, really good flights. Well, right now, moving on, so, people who are planning to travel or are traveling at this point in time, what would be your expert tips for them?
First of all, guys, please make sure you know the latest rules and regulations of your flight. Doesn't matter if you're flying from Australia to India, India to Australia. Please do VAP check-in for all your domestic flights, except charter flights. You can do VAP check-in for all the flights. Sometimes they prepone as well, sometimes they postpone. There can be little bit changes because most of the things are manual these days because of COVID-19. So please make sure that you do a web check-in, which is compulsory in most of the airlines these days. I've seen there are some people who don't do it and then they have a list hassles later on. Guys, it doesn't take really much, hardly 15-20 minutes, the max of your time. Sometimes it's just very quick, in 5 minutes you can do your web check-in, but it's really very, very important part of the process. Another advice I would give is, please, those who are in quarantine services in Australia now, or going to fly to Australia, please don't book your domestic flight until your hotel tell you what time you're going to leave the premises. So it can differ. The time of your, what time you're going to release from your quarantine services can differ hotel to hotel and state to state. Majority of time it finishes the time you arrive to the hotel or what time your flight lands in Australia, but it can be different. So I would recommend to book your domestic flight unless you have taken in package with the charter or your airlines. Please book it after confirming with the hotel, because this week I got call from 4 people who told me that they have to change the flight, and it was very, very costly because domestic flights are very expensive right now. So please, and the same story for Indian domestic as well. If you have booked any of the India to Australia flights and you have to take a domestic connection, my first recommendation would be, please take it with the company or the agent who are booking, so they look after everything. And don't book it until you get tickets. So at least 2 to 3 days before departure is the maximum you should book a domestic flight. Because these domestic flights also you have to change. If you change it, it will cost you 3,000-4,000 rupees. So there is no point, and there are plenty of domestic flights available. So domestic flight from India, please book hard maximum 2 to 3 days before your international flight if you are booking it yourself. And as I mentioned before, now this week, my recommendation to book COVID test will be 48 hours from Australia before your international flight and 48 hours from back as well. That's the standard rule, unless your charter has a specific confirmation or approval in hand. So 48 hours before international flight from Australia and 48 hours before from India. Please make sure you fill all the forms before you leave. Don't leave anything on the last minute. As I always mention, and I always still, get the calls and hear from a lot of people that they have issues. Fill all your forms. I have all the checklists with me if you need it. Doesn't matter you book with us or not, I can still share with you all the checklists. I have an exemption checklist you need from Australia to India, exemption checklist from India to Australia, what all documents you have to fill from Australia to India, the same list from India to Australia. So I have all the checklists, at least 10 checklists I have with me, which you can take benefit. And I always update that every 2-3 days, so you always have updated. And please make sure at least a day before all your documentation are done, your file is prepared so you don't leave anything. So majority of things, guys, we have already discussed in this episode. If there is anything you want us to add for the next one, how you think that we can improve this particular segment, please let us know. Majority of flight details and things we also told you. But if you think there are certain dates you want to come, you can always send us expression of interest. You can call us 04044032264. You can jump on our website, which is www.ausindiatravel.com.au. There's a callback section as well. If you're in India, you can't call back us, then we can call you. There's a form section as well, which you can fill. There's a plenty of details, available everywhere. Plenty of help available everywhere. You just have to literally come up and contact. You can contact me on Facebook as well, on AusIndia Travel page, on my personal page. You can message us on phone as well. So there are plenty. I'm on Telegram group. I'm on Viber, WhatsApp, any social media you name, I'm always there. So Instagram, Twitter, I'm everywhere. So whenever you guys need any help, just let me know. I'm there to help you. And please, if you like this particular episode, share with your family and friends. You can click the copy link as well underneath this particular episode, which you can share with all your friends on WhatsApp. This is not a general news. This is something lot of things updating every week. And I'm sure in these times, it's helpful for everyone because there must be someone who would be looking for travel. So please share with your family and friends. If you like, you can go through our previous 46 episodes as well on Australian Indian Radio, Chantix Media, Brisbane Indian Times, on our social media channels, AusIndia Travel. And if you have any questions, as I said, always you can contact us. And thank you so much for giving us all the reviews. Like this week also, I received more than 20 reviews, which is really, I'm so grateful for that. You can see on the screen as well. And if you have traveled with us, and I mean, especially for this episode, please review us on Australian Indian Radio or AusIndia Travel and tell us that what you like about this episode. Because it is, I think, motivation, energy for me and Umeshi, for both of us, that if we hear from you, then it gives us motivation, boosts us to really do it better. We are trying to include so many things in future, and your feedback is very, very important for us. So thank you very much for listening and be with us. And please share with your family and friends and let us know if we can help you in any way possible. And stay safe. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much. And you have very rightfully said there that, all feedback is welcomed because this is your show, and that's why we are doing it. We're doing it for you, for the community information, so that everyone's up to date with what's happening, what they can do, and where to go for help and things like that. And as Tanvi said, she's on Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, whatever social platform there is, she's there. And I don't know how she does it, but she's there. She will always reply. That's for sure. Once again, thank you everyone for joining in. Please do, go on and fill in that review. And if there's anything that you'd like to see on the show that is not there, or something that you feel would be better, we will take that on board. We'll take that feedback on board and see if we can improve. And thank you very much once again, and thank you, Tanvi, for the 47th episode.
Happy Ganesh Chaturthi, I must say that. May Ganesha, fulfill all your wishes and, take this corona back. So a very, very happy blessings to you all for Ganesh Chaturthi this week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Namaste.